What's going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on my channel, and today we're going to be previewing the first JLT game for 2019. Port Adelaide versus Adelaide in Port Pirie this Saturday at 3:40 PM. It's going to be a very interesting game to look forward to, and obviously the first sort of hit out against a different opposition for the team, and what will be quite a different look coming into this year. So it's going to be a pretty exciting weekend, especially seeing all the new boys out there. So let's have a bit of a preview and see what this game could bring on the weekend. Oh, surprise, surprise, another pre-season showdown. This will be the 15th showdown that's been played in a JLT or an AB Cup or something like that before the actual season starts. So another big sort of rivalry being used. It's local footy in Port Pirie. All the country towns are being used across Australia this weekend, which is kind of a nice touch, especially if you're going to have these types of series with the JLT series and you know, your pre-season trial games and stuff like that. It's a good opportunity for the country people to get out and you know, have a look at their team and see what's how they're tracking and all the new players. So it's really good. It's really exciting, and the great thing about this weekend as well is that, well, footy's back. I mean, you can't not be happy about that. I know it's only JLT and it's going to be it won't be at our best, but in saying that, it's Port Adelaide, it's AFL footy, and it's going to be back. So it's going to be exciting. It's going to be hot, 41 degrees. That is one of the big things about this this weekend, more than anything, is the 41-degree heat. 3:40 PM, so you're right smack bang in the middle of the day, and I think something has to come into consideration for that. The AFL can't move it for broadcasting reasons. Fox Footy obviously doing all the games for the JLT series, so it's definitely something that is a little bit worrying. But I've been told that we extended benches. There's going to be extended drinks breaks. You know, extended breaks, you know, quarter time, half time, 3/4 time, so, and shorter quarters, which is the other thing as well. I think that's a good thing, and in some instances, playing in the heat might not be such a bad thing. It sort of might drain the body a bit more, but it actually can be quite beneficial for your fitness and stuff like that. So I think in a few different ways there's definitely a lot of positives towards it, but obviously player safety and health risks and stuff like that. 41 degrees is next level heat, so it's definitely not the most exciting thing for a player point of view, but you know, that's their job, that's footy, so get out there and just, well, play at a pace where you know you're not going to go overboard and stay hydrated. But the game itself, it's going to be really interesting to see how we play. Personally, this is the type of thing with JLTs, is you're just looking at your own team. You can't really judge how a team's going through a JLT series. We're definitely going to play a lot of youngsters this weekend. Players like obviously Rosie and Dursma and Butters, with some of the new recruits, Sam Mays, Ryan Burton. As we would have seen in the under-23s game last weekend, the young kids from both sides, which was actually a really entertaining game to watch. I know the Crows have a lot of great young talent coming in. I know, coming from a Port fan. But you know, have a whole lot of great talent coming in, and it's definitely really exciting for them. So they'll get to showcase that this weekend. And then for us personally as well, a lot of high draft picks, a lot of new recruits, and last weekend, you know, seeing the likes of Broadbent back as well, Mackenzie's back from injury, and players like Lysette are going to get a go this weekend. Robbie Gray is confirmed to play as well. I'm obviously previewing this pre-selection, and teams are being released, so it's you know, it's kind of a rough idea of how they're going to play, but you know, 30 to 32 or 3 players will be selected. This type of scenario is just a little bit of an extra hit out. No Hamish Hartlett this weekend with his ACL. He apparently had a little bit of a niggle last week at training, so being a bit precautionary and just holding him back for JLT2. Then you're going to have no Ollie Wines, obviously with his shoulder injury, no Charlie Dixon as well, and a couple of the other youngsters as well. I think Riley Grundy is not going to be out there. Don't know about Dan Houston. he's been rested for both the internal trial and the under-23. So whether he comes in this weekend or not will remain to be seen a little bit later on. But yeah, not a lot to preview this week. It's obviously just going to be a game where we look at who we're most excited to see. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the likes of Dersma, Rosie and Butters, those three big draftees that we got in the top 15, or the top 20, sorry. And I've been hearing big raps on Xavier Dersma coming out of trainings, and just the way he's carrying himself around the club. He's just very professional. He's got great pace on the field, great skill, and from the outset he's just really impressed a lot of Port Adelaide people. So that's a great little insight to see that a player of his calibre, the one that probably was least likely to burst out of the blocks, is definitely, you know, on the forefront and the main guy here that's really pushing for a debut round one. A couple of other players as well that we're looking forward to seeing this weekend. Willem Drew perform outstandingly well in both the internal trial and the under-23, so he's one to watch, especially with a couple of spots now open for round one with Ollie and obviously Charlie Dixon and a couple of others that may or may not miss. The other one as well that I was really keen to see is obviously positional changes. See how we structure up and how differently we play, because the internal trial is kind of not something you can really base how well you're going when you're playing each other. And the under-23s was kind of a you could somehow tell how we're looking to play, but at the same time you got the under-23s, a little bit less experience, and not going to pull it off as well as the senior players, and they're not exactly and the game plan's not exactly cemented in their brain. Whereas now this weekend we can spot a little bit more, see who's structuring where, who's playing where. Players like Brad Ebert's going to go forward more, so is Paddy Ryder, which is definitely a big bonus for him, with Scott Lysette going into the ruck. The other thing as well is seeing how, you know, the likes of Pau Pepper are going, because we've heard some great raps coming out of the Port Adelaide camp with him being such a dynamic force. He played really well in the under-20, and not under-23s, in the internal trial. Didn't play the under-23s. AFLX, seeing him perform really well for Deadly. He was one of the shining lights in that team. Same with, you know, Travis Boak as well. No captaincy this year, so he's going to be looking to improve his game a bit more, and you know, a little bit relaxed now. He doesn't have that captaincy commitments. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. Obviously, as an AFL perspective, you're going to see how these two teams are tracking. Adelaide definitely are going to be a force this year. They're going to do some damage, and you know, they've got their players back. Don't have as much injuries at the moment now. So full strength players like Brad Crouch are coming back. Obviously got Tex Walker back fully fit. Rory Sloane is you know, in great nick as well, and I think, you know, their leaders. It'll be interesting to see how they take this week as well, whether or not they go with a younger squad or they go all out and want to play their full team, which is something I think we'll do going into JLT 2 at Alberton against North Melbourne. I don't see us, you know, taking a lot of, you know, a full strength side going up to Port Pirie. I think we'll definitely showcase a lot of the youngsters, whereas Adelaide might do that a bit differently. But you know, this weekend you always want to beat the side you're playing, no matter what type of game it is. Friendly, internal trial, under-23s for premiership points. You always want to beat the team you're playing. And, you know, it'd be nice to get a little win on the board. We're undefeated this year. That's a rare thing at the moment. You know, won the internal trial, won the under-23s. So I think this weekend will be a good little hit out for the boys. It's going to be hot, so it'll be good. So if you are heading out there, do take your precautions and your safety for your health, and obviously the players will do that as well. And hopefully Port Adelaide can get the win this weekend, because it's going to be a very, very interesting contest in Port Pirie. Well, Port fans, that ends this preview for the JLT match versus Adelaide in Port Pirie. Thank you very much for watching this preview. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe for plenty more Port Adelaide content coming your way this year for 2019. It's going to be a big year for the club, big year for the channel, and I think it's going to be a very exciting time for Port fans. So make sure you jump on board. Thanks for watching, Port fans. My name is Anthony, and as always, come!